Easter Sunday, a day of celebration, families in their best clothes, church bells echoing through the neighborhoods of Atlanta, kids laughing as they chase plastic eggs across green lawns. But beneath all that joy, a quiet horror was unfolding. At exactly 6:45 a.m., 23-year-old nursing student Tiana Harper walked out of Sunrise Baptist Church, smiling, phone in hand, her favorite yellow dress swaying with the breeze. It would be the last time anyone saw her alive. This is not just a story about a missing girl. This is a story about a system that failed her, about the silence of those who were supposed to protect her, and about how a grieving family, a persistent journalist, and a city filled with outrage would expose a truth darker than anyone could have imagined. Tiana was bright, brilliant, even a caregiver by nature. She was weeks away from joining Emory University's prestigious nursing program, the first in her family to pursue higher education. On Easter morning, she rose early, made breakfast for her mother, then headed to church for sunrise service, just as she did every Easter. At 7:15 a.m., she texted her mother, "Service just ended. I will stop by at Ms. Evelyn's to drop off her medication. Then I will be coming home. Can't wait for your mac and cheese." But she never made it home. The day went by, then the night. Her phone rang out. Her social media went silent. By midnight, her family knew something was very wrong. Tiana's mother rushed to the local police station to file a missing persons report. But instead of urgency, she was met with apathy. "Maybe she just needed a break," the officer said. "Young women disappear for a bit all the time." They did not issue an alert. They did not search the area. They did not even check traffic or surveillance footage. By the time Tiana's car was found 3 days later, its tires were dusty, the windows partially rolled down, and it was parked near a crumbling warehouse in Atlanta's West Side district. No one checked the building. No crime scene tape. No fingerprints lifted. 72 hours wasted. The clock had been ticking, and the silence was deafening. While the authorities slept on the case, Tiana's family didn't. They printed flyers, knocked on doors, held vigils. They begged local news stations to cover the story. And that was when Maya Brooks, a young black investigative journalist, picked up the thread. Something did not sit right with her. "I saw the flyer," she later said, "and I thought, why isn't this all over the news? Why aren't the police treating this like the emergency it is?" Through Maya's reporting, new information surfaced. Tiana had been seen arguing with a man near her car that morning. Another witness saw her walking toward the abandoned warehouse. Security cameras on the nearby gas station erased. Hard drives mysteriously malfunctioned. Maya dug deeper. The warehouse near where Tiana's car was found was tied to a private security firm, a firm with contracts to patrol private property in Atlanta's underserved neighborhoods. It was run by a group of ex-police officers, mostly retired white men with long histories of complaints that never went public. One whistleblower told Maya that the warehouse was sometimes used as a holding room for troublemakers. Read that again. An unofficial holding cell. In 2019, in Atlanta, 3 weeks after Easter, Maya received an anonymous package. Inside was a small cloth, blood-stained, torn. It matched the hem of Tiana's yellow Easter dress. Also, public outcry forced the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, GBI, to take over from the Atlanta PD. Within 48 hours of stepping in, GBI forensic teams returned to the abandoned warehouse where her car had been parked. Unlike local officers, they didn't just take photos. They treated it like a crime scene. Blood spatter analysis, luminol sweeps, fiber collection, DNA swabs, and that's when they found the first major clue. Tiny droplets of blood near a rusted drain. They dried and crusted over, nearly invisible to the naked eye, but luminol lit them up like stars. The lab matched the blood to Tiana Harper. Detectives built a minute-by-minute timeline of Tiana's movements using cell tower pings from her phone, traffic cams from nearby intersections, streetlight surveillance from the city grid, witness testimony, including a woman who saw a white SUV circling the area. Tiana's phone stopped transmitting at 7:38 a.m. The white SUV, owned by the private security firm contracted for that district, was clocked at the same location just 7 minutes later. And that warehouse? It had no business being used by any company. It had been condemned 2 years earlier. The warehouse yielded more than just blood. GBI's forensic pathologist discovered a ripped plastic badge from a private security uniform, fibers matching the cloth from Tiana's Easter dress, a broken gold chain, confirmed by her mother to be Tiana's baptism necklace. Each piece brought them closer. Detectives cross-referenced employees of the private firm. Out of the 18 listed, only 7 were active the morning of her disappearance. 2 had military backgrounds. 3 had prior complaints filed, none investigated. 1 had been discharged from the Atlanta Police Department in 2017 after allegations of excessive force. That man's name? Troy Haskins. Troy claimed he'd been at home until noon, but cell tower data placed his phone a few blocks from the warehouse at 7:41 a.m. Investigators questioned him for hours. He denied everything, until they showed him the footage from a pawn shop camera just outside the condemned zone. He's seen exiting the driver's side of the white SUV. He's alone, but his shirt sleeve, streaked with something dark. Faced with evidence, his story changed. She was yelling, he said. She wouldn't let it go. He admitted they confronted Tiana after she tried to defend a homeless man they were relocating. She shoved me. I just pushed her back. She fell. She hit something. I didn't mean for it to go that far. But that wasn't the whole story. Not even close. Meanwhile, Maya Brooks, the journalist who had broken the case, received a tip from a former employee of the security firm. The man, whose identity is sealed for safety, provided an audio recording from a body cam he'd kept without the firm's knowledge. On it, you can hear a woman screaming, "You don't have the right. Leave him alone." Then a scuffle. Then silence. Then laughter. The GBI confirmed the voice belonged to Tiana. The file also included a second man's voice, one who hadn't yet been questioned. With Troy's partial confession and the audio as evidence, search teams were dispatched to a remote swamp outside Palmetto, Georgia, where Troy claimed they left her things. There they discovered a torn piece of Tiana's yellow dress, a phone case cracked in half, a bracelet engraved with Nurse T, all DNA tested and confirmed to be hers. But her body, still missing. Still, the evidence was overwhelming. The GBI arrested Troy Haskins and 1 additional officer, James Linton, for charges including aggravated assault, kidnapping, unlawful imprisonment, evidence tampering. Public prosecutors, under pressure from community groups, vowed to treat the case with the seriousness it deserved. Tiana's family, while still devastated, called it a step toward light. Her mother said through tears, "I may never get my baby back, but I will get her justice." While Tiana Harper's body remains unfound, her case is no longer ignored. Her name is etched into legislation, into the city's memory, and into every person who marched for her. The investigation continues. Forensics teams are still combing the swamp. New witnesses are coming forward. And her story, thanks to relentless journalism, community pressure, and the love of a family, has sparked a movement. This is not just a tragedy. It's a testament to what happens when people rise and demand answers.